Thank you for joining my session. I guess 3 weeks ago I didn't know that I'm going to be holding a session over here, but somebody at my school convinced me to come here and tell you something about how to put a book in a shoebox. My name is أحذية. I'm the head principal of the primary school at the German International School. We have about 550 kids. We hope that we get more. We have everything from KG up to 12. I teach while I'm off duty as a principal. I teach a third grade class as a homeroom teacher. That means I have to teach math, science, German, PE, and something else. So I'm teaching about 20 hours a week. Well, I can translate it. It's ethics, if you heard of it. Okay.
I think you better mention what you do not teach. That would be list would be smaller.
Yes, exactly. So after the 20 hours in the classroom, I do the principal job, which is hard to catch up with. And for that, somebody sent me over here to tell you what I do with the shoebox. I have one. It's I forgot. I'm married and I'm a proud father of a first grader. And this is actually her shoebox. New Balance sneakers. How did I come about the idea? Or how did I hear about it? When I did my internship nearly 19 years ago in the school that I've been, I saw a lady doing something like this, and I was a young teacher. And honestly, my subjects in university were math and biology and PE, and I didn't really care about the reading, but I had to attend classes and see her teaching something like this. So the first time I've seen this is 19 years ago, and I've never thought that I would have made my own shoebox. Until I came across a classroom where it's quite hard to read with them. It's a very low reading class, a third grade. Mostly the boys are very low readers. They love to play soccer, they love recess, they don't like to read, and of course they don't like to write. And that reminded me on my own, or myself, when I was in primary school, because I didn't read. I could read, the letters were no problem for me, it's only 28, easy. But I didn't want to put them together. I was more involved in playing soccer, going to the recess, later on looking at the girls. And that changed suddenly when I met my wife. My wife is a bookworm, you would say. And I met her in university, luckily, otherwise probably I wouldn't be here standing right now. And she was reading, at that time, reading 3-4 books at the same time, which she still does. Which is a female thing, I guess. I discovered during the years in class, if you have a classroom full of girls, you don't really have to care about reading. But if you have a classroom with boys, then you need to try something. So now I'm here in Dubai, and I have this classroom of little boys that don't want to read. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I know something. I've seen something having to do with the shoebox, and I did my research, and luckily, I will show you later, it's on the website in Germany, in Berlin, and I found the description, because I don't have any more notes from 20 years ago. And so I tried it with them. And here's what I told them. I showed them the box. And of course, they needed to bring a book, their favorite book. And as you can see, it's a third grader. This, later on I'll show you the box, this is not really a third grade book. This is a first reader book. Actually, this book is a book where parents read, and then there are some bigger printed sections for the kid to read itself. You know all this, right? Yeah. So this little third grader said, well, this is the book. And I said, okay, it's about a little dragon called Coconut. And I said, no, you need to bring a shoebox in your book. So they brought the book that they liked the most, because that's how you started. And they brought it to school, and they brought the shoebox. And then I said, as I have mentioned here, how can we put the book into the shoebox? And for the most boys it was very clear and a very simple task. A shoebox. And I said, yes, we can do this, but we can do another thing. So I told them, I hope this is big enough. Probably not, huh? I'm sorry. I told them, you have your book, and you read your book. And for every chapter, you write down something that is important in this chapter. Only one thing. Could be a person, could be a thing, could be something that happened. And you write it down. And then after this, you look at the things that you wrote down and you think about, was this really important for the story? If yes, you keep it. If really not, throw it away. So you come up with maybe 4, 5, 6, depending on the chapters, on the book, objects or persons that are important in the story. And now I want you to do this in your shoebox. Means, first of all, you write a short summary about this book. Very short. Then you take and try to take the shoebox and you take the shoebox and you make it look alike, that it's obvious it belongs to your book. So you cover it, you can draw on it, everything you want to do, just to make it look nice. And it has to look a little bit like the book. And they do this. And then, ideally, you have a sheet. This looks like this. It says my book. There's the title, the author, the publisher, a brief summary, and your opinion. And you take this and you glue it inside your box, on top. That's what you should do. Now, you start to put the inside of your box. You can draw a scene of the book in the back. Put this in your book, in your box. And then, finally, you take these objects that are so important for the story, and you collect them, or you build them. You can do it with Play-Doh. You can collect them somewhere else. And you put a nice scenery of your book.
So like a diorama set.
Yes, yes. Ideally, you can close it afterwards. And you can just put it and let the people be curious what is in there. If you have done this, you have a self-evaluation sheet that I will provide. And you look at, how's my external design? Does it really look or match the book? How are my objects? Are they really that important for the story? And B, you always keep in mind, you have, somebody will ask you and say, hey, what about that monkey? Where is he in the story? Then you should, in the higher classes, in 4th grade, 5th grade, they do little stand-up tests next to the objects. Just like a little pop-out. This is, in this case later, this is Oscar, the dragon that is his friend, or something like this. But in the beginning I don't do this, I just let the figures be on their own and they have to talk about it. Then, is your short summary accurate to the story? And then your own opinion on the book, how did you do? You do the self-evaluation. Then you come up into my classroom, and then one day it's your turn, and you stand in front with your box. This is actually the box from this little boy with a, I would say, well, second reader. First semester, second reader book. And then you will say then, and you have to tell me all this. What is the author of the book? Short summary of the book, why do I like the book? And then you start to turning it around. And show, actually I broke something here. In the car this was attached here, so I would get in trouble. And then you stand there and the kids are coming and will ask you questions about your book. And you have to answer all these questions. You have to tell them exactly why you put an eagle on top. You need to tell them why to put your monkeys over there. There is an alligator. What did he do in the story? There is a You can see the purple dragon up there. His name is Oscar. It's the friend of coconut. All these things you need to answer. Perfectly, you tell the whole book. Just by, if you have a person on each chapter, you have the whole story of the book. So what you do is you're presenting a book, but you don't feel that you're presenting a book anymore. You present something of your own work, which has to do, of course, with the book that you read. And interestingly enough, the boys are very interested in this. Of course, I have lots of books about soccer, and there's some trouble when they're building teams and all this, and some kind of action, like the magic, magic treehouse. All these action books, they are perfect for the boys. They have a story, and then the question marks, and all this, where they have to solve something. The boys are absolutely in it, and they love to build the boxes. I don't know, I think he had help, I have to tell you, because this is so beautiful and so nice. And then, of course, somebody else will grade it or evaluate it, which will be the audience. Now the kids in this class, they are looking at it. Was he really able to tell me everything about the book? Did he know every aspect of the book? How was the reading? They extract a part of the book if they want to read it out. How was this prepared? Did they read out well? Was the introduction of the book nice? And then the assessment of the book and the box. And then I will mark in what his self-examination was, and then the partners that did it in class. And of course, at the end of the day, as we know, I have to do it too. So now I have to evaluate everything I saw, put it all together, and put it in the grade. And I do this, inshallah, 3 times a year. Because sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while for them now in 3rd grade to read the book, to be able to come up with it, to find it interesting, and then they cannot really do it. They do final touches in class, but most of it they do at home. They come with a ready-made box. It takes a while, but they get used to it and they get faster with it. And then what they like is the day when we all show our boxes. And when we had the open house this year, I just left the boxes, the shoe boxes, on my table in my class, and there was nobody in my class. This was on the wall in German, actually. And I just left the boxes there. And parents could come and see and look and see what's going on. The kids were too nervous, they didn't want to do it, to stand next to their boxes. But this will be the next grade, next open house. My class should be able to stand next to the box. And then we'll tell them, okay, this is how you put a book in a shoebox. This is all I have to say. Thank you very much. Do you have questions? This I sent to Joanne. She will have it. I had to translate it because I only found it in German. I have 20 paper copies, if you are interested in. There are 20 paper copies that you can, if you want to, please. Questions? And feel free to use it and copy it. You can see there is, on the back you can see where it's from, the original website in German. And it's from the minister in Germany, so I think I can pass it out. I don't have to ask. Yes, questions?
The summary is not there.
Exactly, it's not there.
But the summary should be on the back.
Should be on the back. In this case, it should be on the back because you cannot close it. Then it should be on the back. Otherwise, it's going to be in the top. But he extended it to have more room for his scenery.
Are the books the students reading only in German?
I do it only in German, yes. Of course you can do it in English, you can do it in any language, in Arabic. Mr. Ahmed is a Arabic teacher in our school, and he just looked at it and said, well, I can do it in Arabic. Yes, of course. You can do it with any book.
How much time does it take for this time to read one book and to come to this?
This was a 6 weeks project for this boy. 6 weeks. And of course, I don't teach art in my class, but my art teacher put some extra effort in it in the beginning to get them started. Because in third grade, they're, it's hard for them to really know what to do with the box.
So for the older students, who may be reading at a higher level and be slightly more skilled with their fine motor skills, what would you expect more in a box?
Oh, more detailed ops, and I would, the more minimal it gets, the better it gets. You know what I mean? This is typically a primary school project. If this would be a 10th grader, it would be just maybe even a smaller box and very minimal. And more written from the people, yes. If you go higher up, it should be. It's fine when they do it like this, but it should be minimal. So if you go higher up, I know in 6th grade, they're pretty fast. Then it's 2 weeks. But the smaller ones, they need a lot of, in the beginning, in primary, you need a lot of direction still to get this done. And they come and bring it and they say they're ready, and then you look at it and you know they're not ready, and you talk to them and tell them, hey, listen, and you need to go back. And then I have sometimes there's, if you Google Lesekiste, in Germany it's called Lesekiste. If you Google that, there's a lot of pictures of beautiful shoeboxes.
How do you spell it?
Say
How do you spell it in German?
Lesekiste. Lesekiste. But the hardest part is to get them involved in reading, and they put a lot of hard work in it. And they discover that they take ownership of what they do, what they learn, and they discover what books really are. I always try to tell them that books is your own movie in your head. There was I think in the 90s on MTV there was a commercial that came between the music videos that said, books, feed your head. And I think this is the only thing they need to understand, that you feed something. But for boys it's very hard to see what they feed in. And when they do this, they have an understanding what the book really means to them. You can do it, I think you can do it, well, try it with the 12th graders, let's see what they come up with. It's probably an interesting thing. I would do it, then I wouldn't do it in language, I would do it in art, probably, and see what they come up with. Yes?
Yeah, and then how do you assess this project? Like, is there a set of criteria or rubric that you will just...
Yes, it's in the assessment sheet.
It's not...
Everything that is on here is the assessment.
Assessment, right. And
This is my assessment.
Okay.
And then you can look at the points. You can point it the way you want to. Okay, in the beginning, I'm putting more on the box itself. The more points. And then later on, I get more points for the objects that they find. And I get more points for the little columns that they write about. It's up to you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question less about the shoeboxes and more about German resources. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you find, as a German school, do you use, texts that are not translations of English tests, or so to speak, like you were saying, the How to Choose Your Own Adventure books. You said they're also available in German.
Yes.
Are there like German book sets that are not translated from English, for example?
This is a good question. I have to think about this.
Sorry.
Yes, there is. Actually, in fact, in my hometown, I'm from Wesel in Germany. It's near Düsseldorf. And there is a guy called Knister, and he has a series called Hexe Lilly. H-E-X-E, and then L-I-L-L-Y, Hexe Lilly. And this guy's Knister, K-N-I-S-T-E-R. And it's a story about a little witch. Hexe means witch, and it's a little witch. And this is very popular in primary school, Hexe Lilly. And this is original in German. But a lot of books nowadays are really translated from either English or some are from France. But
then-
most of the kids read, if you look at it, most of the kids read the same things. You know, like the magic,
School bus.
the magic school bus, and the Oxford Reading Tree,
Yeah.
which is available in every language. So the kids more or less read the same material. Like 5th grade, they all read Harry Potter. Maybe now the Hunger Games, I don't know. Haven't been up there in a while. But it's, you know, it's universal. Reading is universal.
And do you order them the same way
You order your books.
that English
Yes.
speakers, like Amazon?
Yes. And we have some,
Dot.
for the German schools abroad,
Yes.
we have a special guy who is doing this. You can order also the textbooks and all, because in Germany you're not allowed to buy textbooks
Okay.
if you're not a teacher.
Oh, I see. So, are these people here?
No, it's online.
Okay.
But they are in, I think in Bremen or something like that, and we write an email what we want, and they send it to us.
Thank you.
Any more questions? No? Try it. I encourage you to try it. You have everything you need. If you want to have an Arabic translation, that will be done soon. Very soon. I'm sorry, very soon.
Thank you.
And if you feel free to translate it into French or whatever you need. This is okay.